Hello, my beautiful fashionistas. You are welcome to Yvonne Winifred UG. Hope you are doing great. Today we are here again to make a wrap top. So this video is all about that wrap part of a wrap top. You can do any sleeves just as you wish. You are a fashionista. And without any further ado, just subscribe if you are new, and we start just right away. I have this beautiful black and orange fabric, and it is folded into two. I will be taking the markings onto the wrong side, and I'm starting with the back part. So I've already marked the shoulder line and the shoulder measurement, dividing it by 2. Whatever I get, I add half an inch for joining allowance, and I mark that 8 as you've seen. And from the top there, I go down by half of the armhole measurement, which is 8.5, and then I've marked that line. So on top of that line, I just mark the shoulder slant of 1 inch, and then I mark the midpoint of what is remaining. I move in by half an inch, just as you see, and then carve out the armhole, that is the front armhole. Then from that midpoint, I also mark the back armhole. So I'm marking this back part so that I use it to cut out the front also later. So for the neckline, I'm working with 3 inches as neck width and 1 inch as neck depth. Then I connect wherever the neckline has ended to the shoulder slant like that. Then add half an inch as the joining allowance at the shoulder. So from there, guys, I just divide the bust measurement by 4 inches plus 1 inch for that, and 1 inch as the sewing allowance. And if you want, you can consider the bust, the under bust measurement, and then also consider the waist measurement. That is dividing it by 4 inches plus 1 inch for that, and 1 inch for the sewing. So after determining the measurements, I just carved out simply as you see, and that is the back for now. And so I just cut it out as you see, simply that is the back. And now I think we can determine where the dart will be. So that is how it will be looking like. So determining that dart, I will be dividing the nipple to nipple measurement of the person I'm working this for, which is 7 inches, dividing it by 2. I get 3.5 plus half an inch as joining allowance. I notch that point. And then for the front, I have folded a large piece of fabric, as you see again. And I have my back piece. So I'm placing it on top of this folded new fabric, and I'm just going to trace out all the markings. So that new folded piece of fabric should be at least double your waist, the waist measurement that you've marked at the, your waistline. So now I'm just duplicating all these back markings onto this new folded piece so that I cut out the front part of the top. So this is what I do. And removing my back part, I'm going to work onto the armhole first. That front armhole is a little bit deeper inside. So after that, whatever I have, as I've told you, at the waistline, I'm just going to duplicate it onto, just continue it. So whatever I have about 11 inches, it's what I mark next, like this. So this is a wrap top is a little bit different with that front tie knot tops. But if you want, you can even, do it the same. So after there, from the hemline, I mark off about 3.5 inches up, but that is not a constant. You can do you do what you want. And now I'm just going to determine the neckline for this front piece. So from the top here, remember we have 1/2 inch as joining allowance. So I just went down by about, I think I went down by about 8 inches, but that was kind of bit deep. If you want to be modest, you can do 5 or 6. So that's what I did. And now I connect it into this shoulder on top there, creating the new front neckline. And from the middle there, I connect it to the other 3.5 inches near the hemline, like that. So now this is the front piece. This is how it will be looking like. If you have any curves, correct them. Straight lines, just correct them. If you have your rulers, I always advise, please use them. And then cut out simply like that. It is not all that hard. So after cutting, this is what I have. They will be overlapping like that. So these are my 2 front pieces, and the back will be on top like that. So now moving on, I have to cut facings and the ropes that will be added onto this part, and I'll be showing you that next. So facing for the front and facing for the back. So guys, I also have to cut out a sleeve. So my sleeve is about 12 inches long, and after determining my cap's height, I draw a diagonal line, and the midpoint of this diagonal line, I carve out the back armhole first, and then the front armhole, just as you see. I have a detailed tutorial about the sleeve. You can check it out. Check my how-to playlist, you will find it. It is easy, not difficult at all. So now I mark my sleeve round opening and then connect. Remember to add the allowances. So for the sleeve, you just do you can do a long sleeve, a short sleeve, a puff sleeve, a bishop sleeve, but this one just ends around the bicep. So I cut out the back first, and then I cut out my front sleeve like that, and I'm going to use this to cut out another sleeve because there's supposed to be 2. So that is it, guys. So now after all the cuttings, these are my pieces that I'll be taking to the sewing machine and start sewing. So I have my 2 sleeves, as you see, already cut. And then my facings, this is the back facing. So I'll take it on top of the back neckline like this, and then pin it down, right sides facing each other. Then I will sew by 1/2 inch. So for my facings, all of them, they are 3 inches in width. That is front and back. So for the front, this is what I have also. Again, I'll just sew by 1/2 inch at the sewing machine and finish them up like that. So now I pin them down so that it is easy to sew. So this is what I have so far. Remember, the width is 3 inches and the depth and the length is according to how large your top is. So I'll be, after attaching the facings, I'll join the shoulders, then attach my sleeves after hemming the sleeves, and I'll do all the other finishings and I'll come back to show you. So a few moments later, this is what we have. So this is how the back looks like. The hem is finished, the sleeves and the facings are all attached. So the front also looks like this. So after attaching the facings, guys, I made sure that I top stitched onto those facings so that they are not flipping out when I'm wearing this top. So it will just be like that. And now to move on, I need the ropes or the belts, and after determining where I want, which part I want inside and which part should be out, I moved on with this, guys. So I marked about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 1 inch thereabout, and marked that part. And from that 1 inch I also moved up by 2 inches. That is according to how the width of the ropes, the belts that will be passing through. So we are making kind of a slit where the belts will be passing. So I just seam rip that part, and I will be finishing it up so neatly, just the way we finish up a slit, and that is where the one of the belt will be passing to connect with the other belt on the other side. So now I determine how much I have here, and that is what I use to cut the belt. So it's about close to 2 inches, about 1 inch and 3/4, and these are the pieces that I've cut out. They are two, and they will be on fold. And after finishing them up correctly, I'll just add them onto those parts where they are supposed to sit. So I did that, and guys, the top is now finally finished. The belts are attached, as you see. So my belts are 30 inches long, that is each of the belts, and I've made sure that the seam line is on the inside part, and you can shape them any way you feel like. So this is what I have. I've added them, and I've finished this opening that I have for the belt. So I'll just be passing it like this, and also putting this other one onto its right side. I can either tie the belts at the back, at the side, in front, just the way I feel like. And for the length of the belts, you can just choose whatever you feel like. So that is how beautiful they'll be. That is for the back, if I want them to be at the back. And if I want them on the side, you can just tie them into a bow, just like that. So simply, that is it about the wrap top. And if you feel like, don't hesitate to add darts onto this front piece. At the front there, you can just add your darts, for a nice top. So that is it. I'll be seeing you soon.